Thank you for joining with Flip Flop Thoughts. You know, I was sitting thinking most of us want to act like millionaires, or we're striving to make that first million, 2 million. But most of us will not succeed, even though we play the lottery, go to the casino, think of inventions, all sorts of grand ideas to come up with that $1 million to be one of America's millionaires. But stop and do the math. If you make $20,000 a year and you work 40 years, the average person is going to work longer than that. You've made $800,000. If your spouse also makes $20,000 a year, works 40 years, you have made $1.6 million. Incredible. If you've done $30,000 for 40 years, you made $1.2 million. Your spouse does the same, $2.4 million. If you've done an average of $40,000 for 40 years, you made $1.5 million. Spouse done the same thing, $3 million. So why don't our bank accounts show that we have $1 million? It's because we live beyond our means. We want to live in that bigger, fancier house. We want to drive the newest, fanciest car. Our kids have got to have designer clothes. We've got to have designer shoes, us girls. Stop and do the math. What could you give up? Everybody of us have trivial things that we spend our money on that we really don't need. And I'm right there with you. Could you put $25 to $50 each pay period away? And I know when you're raising kids, that $25 or $50 a pay period seems like you can survive without it. Believe me, really you can. And so in your family, because in the long run, aren't you giving them something better? You're teaching them to save. You're teaching them to have a future. Stop and think of what it would be like, time you're 60 years old, to have $500,000 in the bank. Could you survive on that and live your dream? Could you put $1 million in the bank, work till you're 60, and retire? Because we definitely cannot count Social Security and our government saving our money for us. We all are intelligent enough to know that. It's not your job that's going to make you a millionaire. It's not the government. Chances are it's probably not even going to be the lottery. It is going to be your intelligence that gets you to that first million, that first 2 million.